So, you know the experience that you get when you go to the cinema and watch your favorite blockbuster movie on a giant screen with great surround sound in a dark room. It's hard to capture that same experience at home, even in 2025, where TVs have gotten bigger and better. Now, if you want that same experience in your home, you really have only two options. You get a massive TV, 100 inches, which is super bulky, super expensive, or you could use a projector, but projectors also come with their own shenanigans, mounting on the walls, getting the right screen. It gets complicated. Until now. This is the Hisense TriChroma Laser Cinema Series PX3 Ultra Short Throw projector. It's a 4K laser projector that uses Hisense's patented TriChroma laser engine to produce an image anywhere from 80 inches up to 150 inches while only being a short distance away from your wall, meaning you don't have to mount it on the ceiling or worry about people walking in front of the projector and messing up the image. It's got fantastic image quality with HDR, and if that wasn't enough, it's also the world's first Xbox certified projector with 4K 120Hz gaming, auto low latency mode, and variable refresh rate. Trust me, gaming at 100 inches is another experience altogether. And unlike 100-inch TV that costs somewhere above $10,000, you can get the PX3 for just $3,999. So I've been living with it for about 2 months now, and in this video I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of everything that I think you need to know before buying this projector. Hisense has designed it to really blend into your existing aesthetic so that it doesn't necessarily stand out, but it does have a premium sort of feel and look about it. It does look really nice. For those of you who are young enough to remember, it looks like a VCR back in the days, but rather sleek with a two-tone color design and a silver finish around the front that surrounds the speaker grille that has a very nice perforated dot finish and the silver Hisense logo. You can't miss the Harman Kardon branding on the side as well. That lets you know this thing is going to sound great. The top is pretty bare bones with just the opening for the projector lens. Underneath, you've got adjustable feet that allow you to help position the projector better on whatever surface it's on, as well as angling the lens the right way to get the perfect picture. And speaking of positioning, this is an ultra short throw projector. It can be as close as 20 centimeters and as far as 46 centimeters, which is enough to give you the full 150-inch display size. Now, because of the depth of the projector itself, you will need a rather deep cabinet stand for it to sit on. Alternatively, you could just sit it on the floor itself. That way you can position it the way you want and it will give you the biggest picture. Around the back of the projector, you will get all the connection ports that you need. You get two HDMI 2.1 ports. You also get a third HDMI port, but this one is an ER port, which is great for your sound bars. You also get a USB 2.0 port, a optical audio out, an Ethernet port for hardwired internet, a 3.5mm headphone jack, so you can have some private listening. However, you can also use Bluetooth headphones because the PX3 supports Bluetooth, and best of all, it supports Wi-Fi 6E. Having Wi-Fi 6E means it can use the 5 GHz bandwidth and really push through data fast. I've never had any issues streaming Netflix or Disney Plus or YouTube on this thing. No buffering issues like I've had with so many of the TVs that I've reviewed in the past. Setting up the projector is super easy. Literally just put it there, plug it in, and off to the races you go. Hisense has made it really simple. There's an automatic calibration for the screen so that it can position it correctly for you using a combination of your phone and the projector itself. You can also manually do it until you get the right size and picture. And it works perfectly with a normal wall. I've been using it with a white wall in my house. If you want to get the best picture out of the PX3, you will need an ambient light reflecting screen. I didn't have one, and I really didn't have too much of a problem, especially in darker conditions. Projector worked perfectly, but during the daytime, that's when you'll feel the need for the ALR screen. The PX3 can project in front of you. It can also project behind itself and project up on the ceiling. So you can use it in so many scenarios in different ways, whether you want to use it in your bedroom so you can watch TV on the ceiling, that's pretty cool, or you can use it outdoors. It's so flexible, and that just makes it so easy to recommend for anybody looking for a projector. Once you get the projector set up and you've got everything set up right, you will be amazed at the picture that comes out of this. And what's impressive is that this has a brightness rating of 2800 lumens, which is super bright. It's so bright that the projector has a built-in protection mechanism so that if you come anywhere close to the projector, the lens will shut off in 5 seconds to prevent any damage to your eyes. It's a fantastic feature, especially if you have a young family with little kids. Toddlers love to touch and always walk up to the screen, and you don't want them burning their eyes out with that bright laser light. But yeah, it is so powerful that this projector can actually work during the day in bright lit rooms. Of course, it will depend on the content. Some content which is really highly saturated, like cartoons and animations, will still be quite visible, but it's best used in a darker environment where the light is controlled. You will get an incredible picture. But it's also not just a bright picture. The PX3 has a 3000:1 contrast ratio. For reference, most LED TVs that you are used to watching will have a 1500:1 ratio. OLEDs, of course, will have 1,000,000:1, which is like perfect black, but this projector is very impressive. I'm amazed at how good some of the content just looks spectacular. You would be hard pressed to believe that this was coming from a projector on an untreated wall. Not only does it have great contrast, but the color accuracy is one of the highest. It is rated at 107% of the BT 2020 color gamut, which it looks fantastic. Colors are rich and vibrant and saturated. There is great contrast and tonality in the images. It really doesn't matter what you're watching. And when you throw in Hisense's AI picture profiles and upscaling, you get an incredible experience. Over the Christmas holidays, my kids and I, we decided to do a marathon of Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter series, both of which are very, very cinematic movies. And the PX3 just handled it magnificently. HDR is amazing with extremely bright highlights thanks to that 2800 lumens, and the PX3 supports all the major forms of HDR. You also get all the standard picture modes that you're used to on high-end TVs, like the filmmaker mode, cinematic mode, IMAX, theater mode, many of which are calibrated for both daytime and nighttime watching. HDR in games looks incredible. Contrast from the darker areas and shadows in the rocks to the bright sun in the sky and the orange tones of the sunset. It was just really captures that cinematic experience. It really draws you in. It's an experience. Of course, the downside to this is that it's only that good when the lighting is controlled, and a projector requires that the ambient light be much lower than the projector itself in order for you to get the best picture. The PX3 is still fairly usable during the day. I have it seated in my living room that's got these big French doors, lots of light streaming in on bright sunny days. Yes, the image is quite washed out. It does make watching things a little bit harder during the day, but the minute the sun starts to go down, the image pops straight away. It's actually quite impressive that I've been able to watch things, say 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 5 o'clock, and the projector is still able to produce a very watchable image. Once it goes really dark and you turn the lights off, then things truly shine. It's hard to capture on camera, to be honest, because the projector's light is bouncing off the wall into the lens as well, making it harder to capture the hues and tones right. But trust me when I say this is a phenomenal picture, and I am shocked, utterly shocked, because I never expected a projector to be able to do this. And then there's gaming. So I mentioned that this is the world's first Xbox certified gaming projector. The PX3 is capable of outputting 4K at 120 Hz refresh rate. It also supports auto low latency mode, which means once it detects the console, it will lower the latency and tune its settings to give you the best performance. As I mentioned, it has two HDMI 2.1 ports, which means you can connect both an Xbox and a PlayStation 5. I tested it with an Xbox just to see what does this Xbox certified really mean. Going into the Xbox settings, you could see that it checks off every mark except for the Dolby Vision at 4K, which it says limited to 60 Hz. But everything else is checked off. And what I can say is gaming at 100 inches is truly another experience, especially when you've got the lights turned down. The image that you're getting out of this is so good. The latency is almost non-existent. I found online the spec saying it's about 30 milliseconds latency. I didn't feel any latency when I was playing Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Everything felt smooth. However, a best gaming experience on this projector is reserved to those cinematic single-player games. Things that have gorgeous graphics, gorgeous HDR, and have time for you to walk around and appreciate the graphics and the environments was chef's kiss. This is an unbeatable experience because you're playing these things literally at life size, especially if you've got the projector set to 150 inches. That is just insane and incredible. And the sound, the sound is really, really good. PX3 comes with a 50-watt speaker system that is certified for Dolby Atmos. The speakers are tuned by the legendary Harman Kardon. These are the best sounding speakers I have heard on TV or projector. I expected it to sound good given the size of the projector and the way it's designed, but it is so impressive that we basically never used it at a volume of over 18 out of 100. Like, that's how low we used to use it, and it was loud and it was rich and full-bodied. I wouldn't quite say that it was surround, but it was definitely rich and immersive enough to not complain. Yeah, you won't worry about sound using this thing. This thing sounds great. The PX3 comes in two flavors. The one which is for the North America and European markets comes running Google TV, and the one here in Australia will ship with Hisense's own VIDAA OS. As far as TV OSs go, I'd say VIDAA is pretty good. It does a very good job of not getting in the way of you doing the things you want to do. Generally, the interface of the OS is very simple, and VIDAA obviously has an app store where you can get plenty of the apps that you use. One thing I did find really odd is that though it's an Xbox certified projector, there is no Xbox cloud gaming app, so you can't do cloud streaming on the projector. That's kind of sus, but there's a whole other bunch of stuff within VIDAA that can be useful, especially if you are into the Hisense ecosystem. But honestly, most people will pretty much just use it to go straight into their apps. In fact, you won't use it that much because of this thing here. It's a pretty neat remote for a couple of reasons. It's solar powered, which is something really neat. It means you never have to worry about replacing batteries. LG still comes with its magic remotes using AA batteries, and I'm just like, guys, it's 2025. It's also got a USB-C port, so you can charge it using your phone charger. And coolest of all, it also has backlit keys. So you know how you're trying to watch movies in the dark, which you would be doing with a projector like this, the keys light up, which makes it so much easier to navigate and use in the dark. It's a nice little touch that I really love. Well done, Hisense. All right, so that's my quick review of the Hisense PX3. I think it's a phenomenal projector and I love it, and I think you will love it too if you are looking for a big screen experience that doesn't break the bank. If you love watching movies, if you love big screen gaming, this thing is perfect for you. However, being a projector, you'll always have to consider lighting when you set this up. Also, even though it works pretty well on a regular wall, it's still advisable that you get a specially painted wall for projectors or an ALR screen. And at $3,999, yes, it's a little bit on the pricey side, but for what you get, I think you get an experience that is comparable to some of the best OLED TVs that are on the market right now. All right, so that's it about the PX3. I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think of ultra short throw projectors or projectors of any kind. Would you pick this over a TV? Or if you found this video helpful in any way, I'd appreciate a like and even a subscribe, because there's a lot more dope tech coming on the channel and I'd love to be able to share it with you. Thank you again for watching. God bless you. Until the next one. Peace.